Hello and welcome back to a new video. Today I want to review the Goethe and the Telc test for you because I often get questions, what is easier to pass? Is it the Goethe or the Telc test? So I really want to review them both and look closely at them both, give you some pros and cons so that you hopefully can better decide which test is the one for you. So I will structure this video into 3 parts. The first part will be regarding the exam structure. So what can you expect in which test and so on. Then number 2 will be the exam dates, so when can you actually take the Goethe or the Telc test, and number 3 will be the cost. Before we move on, if you're interested in this video and you like this topic, please quickly hit the like and the subscribe button, and now let's start with the video. So, the most important question before taking an exam is, of course, the exam structure. So before you start with the exam, you should take some time to get familiar with each exam structure. There are also mock exams of the Telc as well as the Goethe test available online. So if you're not sure, I also suggest to have a look at both of them and maybe even try them to get a feel for the different exams. I will link both a mock exam from the Goethe and from the Telc test for you down below. But in any case, I will also tell you a little bit more about the exam structure right now. So it is quite similar between the Telc and the Goethe test, however there are some important differences. So both exams are sectioned in 4 parts, namely reading, writing, listening and speaking. However, there are some slight differences. When it comes to the Telc test for the level B1 and B2, there is a separate section called language elements, where you will be tested on your grammar and vocabulary knowledge. This is quite specific, so grammar and vocabulary is something that you can prepare really well in advance. The Goethe format eliminated this pure grammar section. However, the Goethe exam has a stronger focus on writing. So while in the Telc test for the level B1 and B2, there is only 30 minutes allocated for your writing task, and then you have another 30 minutes where you focus on language elements, which is grammar and vocabulary. In the Goethe test, you don't have this language elements part, but you will have a full 60 minutes, so a complete hour of writing for your B1 and your B2 test. This means the Goethe exam places more emphasis on the writing task than the Telc test does. Now, my personal opinion, and that depends of course on the individual and how much you love writing, but my personal opinion is that the language elements part in the Telc test, so grammar and vocabulary, is slightly easier because you can really prepare very well for it. So you can learn grammar and vocabulary by heart and really know what's ahead of you, whereas for the pure writing test, this is a little bit harder. Generally, you will have an open-ended question, which can leave a little bit more room for mistakes. However, if you love writing and you really enjoy it, then you should definitely go for the Goethe test. Generally, more grammar just means more predictability, so you can really study a bit more to the test, so to say, so you know what grammar awaits you. With the writing task, you can of course practice some areas of writing, but you won't know exactly what writing question will await for you. Okay, that is all for the exam structure. Now let's look at when you can take the exam. I tailored this now specifically to Switzerland, but it is very similar in Germany and Austria as well. Generally, the Telc test can be done at numerous testing centers in and around Switzerland, because language schools are actually able to sign themselves up as the Telc Institute. So that means there's just a lot more available, and there are many different exam dates you can choose from. Whereas the Goethe test, it is a lot more limited where you can take it. Usually there are just a handful of institutions, so language schools cannot administer the Goethe exam, but they have to be special Goethe institutions. Now in Zurich, that is the Zürcher Hochschule für angewandte Wissenschaften, and they only run 5 exam dates a year. That means you are a lot less flexible of when you actually want to take your exam, whereas in the Telc centers, you have way more exam dates to choose from. And now our third and final point we want to look at is the cost. So what is more costly and what is cheaper? Generally speaking, the Goethe test is slightly more expensive. The cost for the Telc test can vary because language schools are able to set a fixed price for them. Usually they are all in the same range though, and might only vary by 10, 20 or 30 francs. So it makes sense to maybe check and compare, but generally speaking, Telc will be a little bit cheaper than the Goethe test. So if you ask me for my resume, so my personal winner, I would say my personal winner is the Telc test, because it has a wider grammar section and a bigger vocabulary section, which means more predictability. In the test, you can prepare better, you are more flexible regarding your exam dates, and it is slightly cheaper. So please let me know your opinion in the comments. Would you prefer to take the Goethe or the Telc test? And if you have questions to any of them, please leave the questions in the comments and I will answer them as well. Thank you for watching this video. If you like this video, please don't forget to like and to subscribe, and I will see you in my next one. Tschüss!